What if I told you that the Prime Minister of Israel just ignored a warning from one of Africa's most fearless revolutionary leaders? And that warning was not just political, it was personal, powerful, and prophetic. What if the world is about to witness a chain reaction that could shift global alliances, shake up power structures, and awaken the sleeping lions of Africa? Stay with me, because what you're about to hear is not being broadcast on CNN, BBC, or Al Jazeera. This is the truth behind the headlines, a truth they don't want you to know. This is not just about politics. It's about future of Africa. It's about the return of dignity. And it's about how one African leader, Captain Ibrahim Traoré of Burkina Faso, dared to challenge the West, confront injustice, and now faces a silence that could either ignite peace or provoke something far more dangerous. Captain Ibrahim Traoré, a name that now echoes far beyond the borders of Burkina Faso, a young revolutionary just in his 30s who overthrew a pro-Western regime not for power, not for fame, but for his people. He rose through the military ranks with integrity, but when he saw how Burkina Faso was crumbling, plagued by terrorism, looted by multinational corporations, and betrayed by puppet leaders, he took action. Traoré's message was simple: Africa must be free, Africa must stand, and Africa must own its future. Since then, he's banned French military operations, shut down Western media outlets, and aligned himself with a new axis of resistance: Mali, Niger, Guinea, all standing against neocolonialism. He's not just a president, he's a symbol of a continent tired of begging, tired of bleeding, and tired of bowing. Just weeks ago, an unexpected message came from Ouagadougou, the capital of Burkina Faso. In a powerful statement, Traoré issued a clear and firm deadline to Israel's government under Benjamin Netanyahu. The message, open quote, "Cease the aggression against Palestine or Burkina Faso will sever all ties and mobilize resistance through diplomatic and economic means." Close quote. Let that sink in. A small West African nation, poor in GDP but rich in pride, telling a nuclear-armed, globally connected state like Israel, enough is enough. This wasn't empty rhetoric. Traoré aligned this message with solidarity statements from Mali, Niger, and even sections of South Africa. And the reason? Gaza, Palestine, the continued military operations that have left thousands of civilians dead, including children. Traoré, whose entire philosophy is based on resistance against oppression, could not stay silent. His deadline was a moral one. He demanded dignity for the oppressed, and it was a clear test for Israel and its allies. And then came the silence. No response, no negotiation, no diplomatic outreach. Netanyahu ignored the deadline, no public statement, no apology, no de-escalation. The Israeli government, emboldened by Western backing, simply moved forward as if nothing happened. But here's the question: was that silence a sign of strength or a colossal mistake? Because in ignoring Ibrahim Traoré, Netanyahu didn't just ignore Burkina Faso. He ignored the heartbeat of a rising continent. He ignored a movement that is spreading like wildfire across Africa and the global south. And most dangerously, he underestimated the spirit of African resistance. What Netanyahu and many Western powers still fail to realize is this: Africa is not isolated anymore. Under leaders like Traoré, Assimi Goïta of Mali, and Abdourahmane Tiani of Niger, a new Pan-African front is forming. They are rejecting IMF control, canceling French mining contracts, and creating independent defense alliances like the AES, Alliance of Sahel States. But it doesn't stop there. These leaders are forming ties with Russia, China, Turkey, Iran, and even non-aligned nations in Latin America and Asia. A multipolar world is emerging, and Africa is no longer begging for a seat. It's building its own table. Traoré's deadline to Israel wasn't just political, it was symbolic. It was a line in the sand. And now, after being ignored, the question is, what comes next? Let's explore what could happen now that Netanyahu ignored Traoré's deadline. Diplomatic fallout. Burkina Faso may officially cut ties with Israel. Embassies could be closed. Travel and trade could be restricted, and other African nations may follow. This could lead to a broader African boycott against Israeli products, lobbying at the UN, and pressure on the African Union to act. Military repercussions. While Burkina Faso does not have the military capacity to challenge Israel directly, the real danger lies in proxy actions. African resistance groups, including those inspired by anti-imperialist movements, could take bolder actions. This may trigger regional instability that Western powers can no longer control. A global awakening, the most powerful scenario? A moral and emotional awakening. Traoré's bold stance could inspire youth across Africa, the Middle East, and Latin America to stand against injustice through protests, education, and media. And in a world where public opinion shapes policy, this wave could ripple into real change. This is not just about Gaza. This is not just about Israel. It's about what kind of world Africa wants to build. For too long, African leaders have stayed silent when injustice happens elsewhere. But now, leaders like Traoré are proving that an injury to one is an injury to all. Africa is rediscovering its soul, its pride, its fire. From Thomas Sankara to Patrice Lumumba, from Nkrumah to Mandela, this continent has always had warriors for justice. Ibrahim Traoré is simply the latest in that sacred line. And by speaking out, even at the risk of being ignored, he has reminded the world that Africa will not be silent. Not now, not ever again. Make no mistake, the West is watching this very carefully. They see a pattern forming, African nations rejecting foreign military bases, cutting off colonial currencies like the CFA franc, embracing indigenous education and history, and now calling out powerful states like Israel without fear. This is why the media isn't reporting it. This is why Western diplomats are scrambling. Because when African nations unite under a moral cause, and when that cause is justice, the balance of global power shifts, and the world becomes a lot harder to control. Now, more than ever, we must stand behind our leaders who speak the truth. Ibrahim Traoré cannot do this alone. It takes people, it takes youth, it takes you. Speak out, share the message, demand that your governments stand for justice, not just in Africa, but everywhere. If you believe in sovereignty, if you believe in justice, if you believe in the rise of Africa, this is your time, because the world is watching and history is listening. To Netanyahu and the Israeli government, you may have ignored Traoré's warning, but you have awakened something much greater. You have awakened a continent that refuses to be silent. You have ignored a deadline, but you may have started a countdown to a new Africa, an Africa that speaks truth, resists injustice, and leads with pride. And to the people of the world, don't wait for CNN to tell you what matters. Don't wait for approval from the West. The revolution is already here, and it's rising from the heart of Africa. If you believe in a free and sovereign Africa, if you stand with truth and justice, then like this video, subscribe to the channel, share this message far and wide, drop a comment below. Do you support Ibrahim Traoré's bold stance? Should more African leaders speak out like this? Let's get this message to every corner of the world, because Africa is not begging. Africa is rising.